Dari Utsman ibn Affan berkata, aku mendengar Nabi SAW bersabda, sesiapa yang membaca Bismillahilladzi la yadurru ma'asmihi syai'un fil ardi wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami'ul alim, yang bermaksud dengan nama Allah yang dengan namanya tidak ada sesuatu pun yang dapat memberikan kemudaratan di bumi maupun di langit. Dialah yang maha mendengar lagi maha mengetahui. Sebanyak 3 kali, maka dia tidak akan ditimpa bala yang datang secara tiba-tiba sehingga subuh. Dan barang siapa yang membacanya ketika subuh sebanyak 3 kali, maka dia tidak akan ditimpa bala secara tiba-tiba sehingga petang, iaitu malam. Hadis rawahu Abu Dawud menurut Syekh Syu'ib Al-Arnud. Hadis ini adalah hasan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. How are you today? I hope everyone is healthy and staying at home to help Malaysia overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. I also hope every student is making full use of the time given to prepare for your SPM examination. As the saying goes, time flies, and time and tide wait for no man. Before you know it, the SPM examination will be upon you. Remember, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So my name is Hayati Ahmad and I am from SMK Kuala Perlis, and today I am going to share with all of you one section of the 1119 Bahasa Inggeris SPM paper, which is Section D, Poem. Perlis mengaji. Let's begin. Okay, in this session, I am going to focus on the poem entitled A Poison Tree, and also, if time permits, Charge of the Light Brigade. And what is going to happen during this session is, we are going to look at the poem and we're going to do a little bit of analysis on the poem, and also we're going to look at some tips on how to answer questions based on the poems. All right, so let's begin. As you well know, the 1119 paper is divided into 3, which is paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. For paper 1, you have directed writing and also continuous writing. And paper 2 consists of 4 sections. Objective, which consists of 15 objective questions and carries 15 marks. Section B, information transfer, which carries 10 marks. Section C, comprehension and summary, which carries 25 marks. And section D, poem and novel, which carries 20 marks. So the total of paper 2 is 70 marks. All right, for today, we are going to look at question 32, which is poem. And this section is further subdivided into A, B, C, and D. And the mark for poem is 5 marks. So I'm sure you're very familiar with this book. Okay, this is the literature component for secondary schools, Form 4 and Form 5. And you can see here the picture of a tree and also the title, A Poison Tree. Now you should have this textbook with you at home now. All right? So for upper secondary, you will study 4 poems. In Form 4, you should have studied The Living Photograph and Charge of the Light Brigade. For Form 5, you will study What Has Happened to Lulu and A Poison Tree. Now, let's take a look at A Poison Tree. Who is the writer of this poem? The writer of this poem is William Blake. I have a picture of him here, and you look at his finger, you can see a pen or a pencil. So he's a writer. You know, obviously, he is a writer. So a little bit on William Blake. Who is he? Okay. He was born on the 28th of November 1757 in London, and he passed away on 12th of August 1827, also in London, England, at the age of 69. William Blake is an English engraver, an artist, and a poet. The poem A Poison Tree was written in 1794, and it was part of his Songs of Experience collection. All right. Now, before we start, I would like to I would like you to look at these 2 quotes. The first one is, a good relationship starts with good communication. What does that mean? Okay, so relationship starts with good communication, meaning if you want to have a good relationship, you must be able to communicate well with the person you are having the relationship with. If you are able to do that, you will have a good relationship. The second quote, a heart filled with anger has no room for love. Meaning, if you are angry at somebody, there is no room for you to love that person. So, our session today is based on these 2 quotes. All right. Now, A Poison Tree. I will recite this poem now for you. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe upstretched beneath the tree. So that is the poem by William Blake. Now, let us now look at the literal meaning of some of the words in the poem. I'm talking about the literal meaning, what it means literary, all right, according to dictionary definition, not the figurative or meaning of the words. All right, literal meaning. The literal meaning of wrath is extreme anger, meaning you are angry, very, very angry at somebody. So, okay, I have a picture there of somebody who is angry at somebody, who is extremely angry at somebody. And then foe means enemy, somebody that you hate, somebody that you do not like, somebody that you have grievances with. Number 3 is watered. Watered here means pour water, and usually we pour water on plants. Okay, so we pour water on plants. Number 4 is sun. Sun means we provide sunlight. Okay, we provided sunlight. If you have plants, then the plant needs water and also sunlight to grow. So that is why it is watered and it is sunned. Next is grow. Grow means became bigger. Means something becomes bigger or increases in size. Okay. Next is deceitful. Deceitful means dishonest behavior. Okay, that is deceitful. Wiles means clever tricks. Next is bore. What does bore mean? Bore means produce. Okay, it gives fruit, for example, fruits. All right, for example, a tree bore fruits. Okay, next is beheld. It means you look at it or you saw it. You look at it and you saw it. Beheld. Okay. And then next one is veil. Veil means to hide something partly or completely. For example, the earth is veiled. The darkness came and it is some partly and after that completely veiled. If you look at the picture there. And pole here, it means the North Pole, where our earth has two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. Alright, so these are the literal meanings of the words in the poem. Some of the words in the poem. Alright, next. Now let's take a look at the stanza. We are going to look at the stanza and we are going to see what each stanza means. The first one. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. So the persona was angry at his friend and told his friend about it. After that, his anger disappeared. He was no longer angry at his friend and they continued their relationship. So the wrath ended, the anger ended. The third line, I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. What does that mean? It means, however, when he was angry at his enemy, he kept quiet. He did not say anything. He kept his anger bottled up in him. Okay? He did not tell his enemy that he was angry. So what happened? His anger grew and grew inside him. Okay, next stanza. Sorry, I have here a graphic representation of stanza 1. There are two here, and a credit goes to Bridget Bodine, okay, at www.storyboarddad.com. All right, look at the first picture. I can't believe you broke my chainsaw. So he was angry and he told his friend that he was angry. The reason why he was angry, because the friend broke his chainsaw. When the friend apologized, the friend said, I'm so sorry. So what happened after that? The anger disappeared. But he was angry at his enemy. And he did not tell his anger to his enemy. He kept quiet. He kept it in himself. He bottled it up. And so you can see here, he just kept quiet. And inside, he was already livid with anger. He was very angry. He was extremely angry at his enemy. All right. Next, second stanza. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. What does it mean? The anger is like a tree. Here it is a metaphor. The anger was like a tree, and he nourished his anger tree with anger, with suspicion, and with hatred. He was suspicious of his enemy, and he was angry with him. All right? So, and then what happened? Night and morning. So, all the time, he was angry. So, he cried, because he cried about whatever it was that made him angry, so the anger grew and grew. Okay? And then, next line. and I sun it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. What does that mean? All right. The persona was not honest with his enemy. So on the outside, the persona smiled and acted friendly towards his enemy. But actually, in the inside, he was very angry. He hated his enemy. Right? Let's see. So, this is a picture of his anger. So his anger maybe it started with a seed. But then because he watered it with fears and he also sunned it with smiles and deceitful wiles, what happened? The seed grew. Okay, the seed grew. Just like a tree. Okay, so it became bigger, it increased in size. So that was what happened to the anger that was bottled up. It grew. Okay, and this is the second stanza, again by Brigitte Bourdinet. So here, on the outside, the persona was friendly and smiled at his enemy. Here he said, "Hey man, good to see you." So they were friendly, they were talking, they were smiling at each other, everything was fine. But in the inside, him again, I hate this fool. So you see, there is two contrasting emotions happening in him. One, outside he was friendly, inside he was very angry. All right? So the persona was actually not honest with his relationship with his enemy. All right? Next, third stanza. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. What does it mean? Now, the poison tree of anger eventually produced fruit, which was an apple. Okay, so it grew and grew and grew, became big, and finally it bore or it produced an apple. All right. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. So what happened? The enemy saw the apple, he was tempted by the fruit, and the enemy knew that the apple belonged to the persona. He knew that the apple belonged to the persona. So, again, here is another picture, all right? So here, the enemy saw the fruit and he was tempted by the shine of the fruit. He wanted it and he knew it belonged to the persona. All right? Next. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. What does that mean? One dark night, his enemy sneaked into his garden and stole his poisonous apple. Then his enemy ate it and died. See, he died. And then, in the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. So he was glad. He was glad to see his persona outstretched beneath the tree. So the next morning, the persona saw his enemy, and the persona felt very happy to see his enemy lying dead under his poison tree. Okay, so think about that. So here again, so this is the persona, and he was very happy. He looked happy to see his enemy outstretched, lying straight on his back beneath the poison tree. Okay. Right, that is very sad, isn't it? Right. So, all the four stanzas. Now I'm going to go to the summary of the poem. All right? In this poem, the persona was angry after a misunderstanding with his friend and his foe. He talked about the misunderstanding with his friend and got over his anger. He was no longer angry at his friend. However, he did not talk about his anger to his enemy, to his foe. So what happened? His anger increased and grew into an anger plant. This is a metaphor, an anger plant. The tree did not actually grow in him. No, it's just a metaphor to say to indicate that his anger grew and grew. All right. Now, the persona treated his growing anger like a growing plant. He fed the seed of his plant with anger and hatred. He watered it with doubt, suspicion, and hatred. On the outside, the persona smiled and was friendly to his enemy. He was deceitful to his enemy. Okay, his behavior was dishonest. Right? Then what happened? His anger and hatred grew into a poison tree. The poison tree was actually the persona's wrath and hatred for his foe. Eventually, his poison tree produced or bore a deadly poison apple. And then, the persona's foe saw the apple and was tempted to eat it. It was shining. It looked delicious. So, the persona's enemy was tempted to eat it. So, one dark night, he sneaked or he moved quietly into the persona's garden and stole the poison apple. Then he ate it and died. The next morning, the persona was happy to see his foe lying dead under his poison tree. So that is a summary of a poison tree. All right, now let's take a look at the theme. Now, what is a theme? A theme is overall meaning of the poem. What is the poem about? So number one, now there are many themes, but I'm going just to focus on two. Number one is about, the theme is about managing anger. How do you manage your anger? Do you speak it out? Do you tell everybody about their anger? Do you tell your anger to the person whom you are angry with? Or do you keep it inside? Now, what is the effect if you keep your anger inside you? What is the consequence if you keep your anger bottled in you? Okay, you suppress it. You did not tell anyone about it. So, that is one theme. Number two, the theme is the importance of communication. In any relationship, communication is important. So if you are angry at someone, you should communicate. You should tell your anger to that someone so that the anger can be dissolved and the problems can be solved or overcome. So that is why it is important to communicate. Do not keep quiet, okay, about whatever feelings that you have in you. Okay? All right, next. What are the moral values that we can learn from this poem? Number one, we must discuss any misunderstandings, problems or differences that we have with the people around us, such as our parents, our siblings, our friends, our acquaintances, and everybody that is around us. All right? So it's better to discuss than to keep quiet. Number two, we should not have ill feelings or hatred or animosity against anyone. It is not good to have ill feelings, okay, about anyone. Number three, we must learn to move on. We must learn to forgive and we must learn to forget. Okay, when we learn to forgive, we will feel good inside. The matter is resolved and we will be able to carry on. All right? So there is closure. All right? So number four, we must not keep or bottle up or suppress or nurture our negative emotions of anger or anger. We must not keep it inside us. We must tell. You must tell your anger to somebody. Okay? Be it your parents, be it your counselor, your friends, okay, your teachers, your best friends. Okay? It's better to inform, to share, okay, your anger with somebody. Next, we must learn to control our emotions. If we are angry at somebody, we must try not to blurt out our anger at him directly. We must think first about what we want to say. We must learn to control our emotion. We must learn to be patient and to think before we speak. Okay? So those are the moral values that there are many more, but these are the 5 that I want to show with you. So theme and moral values are very important in poem because sometimes a question might come up on theme. For example, what is the theme of this poem? Or for example, what is a moral lesson? What is the moral value? Or what is the lesson that you can learn from this poem? So you must know at least 1 or 2 theme and 1 or 2 moral values. Okay? All right. Now, let us proceed to tips on how to answer questions. All right. Remember, you get 5 marks from this, and in order for you to score well in your examination, you must get 5. Inshallah, you'll be able to do it. All right. Tips. Number 1, I would advise you to spend only 10 minutes on poem because there are only 4 questions. And remember, this is section D, and you have in section D you need to allocate more time for novel. Novel carries 15 marks. So you must allocate more time for novel. So do not dilly-dally. All right? And then number 2, read the questions carefully as usual. And then write short answers based on the poem. I know some of you like to write long answers. For example, a question on what word. So you're going to say, the word is... You do not have to do that. You just give one short answer. For example, some people would write the meaning of something is that is long. They do for question A, B, C, and D. For the questions in the poem, if the question does not, let's go to the next one, does not ask you to quote or to copy to quote, then you do not have to write long answers. Let me make it clearer for you. It was not clear just now. Write short answers based on the poems. Unless the question asks you to give your opinion, then you write long answers. And then the next one, do not quote or copy directly from the poem unless the question asks you to do so. For example, which line? Okay, then you quote from the poem. All right. Next, if this is clearer, if the question states that you must use your own words, then you must answer in your own words. Do not lift from the poem. If the question asks for your own opinion, you should give your own ideas and do not look for answers from the poem. Your answer should be logical and relevant. So this is where you write long answers because it is giving opinion. Okay, if the question just asks for meaning, you just give the meaning. And of course, when you are quoting from the poem, please make sure the spelling is correct for all your answers. Okay, all right. Next, for this question, you need to be aware of the key words in the question. For example, which word means. So here it is word. Next, which phrase means. Next, which line means. So these 3, you should know the meaning of word, the meaning of phrase, and the meaning of line. Do not confuse them. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the examples. Word, meaning one word. This is what I mean by just give the answer. If the answer is apple, you just write apple. You do not have to say the word is apple. You can, but you are wasting time. Okay, because this question just require one answer. All right. Next, a phrase. A phrase is a group of words. For example, an apple bright. A phrase does not have a verb, because if it has a verb, then it is a clause, not a phrase. Okay, next, a line. A line is simply a line, a group of words in one line of the poem. Okay, next, let's look at some examples of question. Here is stanza 2. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. All right, question. Which word in stanza 2 has the same meaning as dishonest? The answer is deceitful. Here you can write, the word is deceitful. You can, the answer, you can do that. But it's taking more time. So do not waste your time. So you just give one answer. Is it soft, deceitful? Or is it and with soft, deceitful wiles? So maybe I give you a minute to a few seconds to look at the answer. Of course, it is a giveaway. The answer is deceitful because it's just one word. Okay, the rest are all wrong. Okay, right. And then don't worry, because when you look at the stanza, you know, okay, where the word comes from. Because sometimes you need to look at the context of the stanza. All right, next. All right. In stanza 2, what does the word it refer to? So here, it needs the word it. So, I watered it in fears. I sunned it with smart. So, two it's here in stanza 2. Okay, so what does it refer to? So, it refer to wrath. Okay? Okay, if you answer, and I watered it in fears, or you answer, okay, or you answer anger. Now let's take a look at these three answers and which one or which answer is correct. Okay, wrath is correct. Second one is wrong. If you answer anger, is that also correct? Yes, it is also correct. Okay, right. Next. In stanza 2, which phrase suggests that the persona pretended and used tricks? Okay, which phrase suggests that the persona pretended and used tricks? So, there are two answers here, soft, deceitful wiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. So, which one is a phrase? So, I give you 1 minute to look at the answer. Okay, so the answer is soft, deceitful wiles. And with soft, deceitful wiles is actually a line from the poem. Okay. Now, the persona use tricks. Which line in the poem refer to these tricks? Okay, which one? All right. So the answer is, which one? Which one is the answer? Okay, that is the line, and with soft, deceitful wiles. And line 8 is wrong. So never say this line, that line, line number 5, line number 6. That is wrong. When the question asks for a line, please copy the line correctly. Okay? And if it has a capital uppercase or capital letter, you must copy exactly. This goes for all the questions, the answers in the question. When if you are quoting or you're copying, so make sure that you write exactly as in the line. Okay, all right. If there is a hyphen or a semicolon, you copy exactly. Okay, this one. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. All right. In stanza 2, how did the persona allow his anger to grow? So, which one is the answer? So, which one? Okay, I watered. I here is exactly from the poem, but it's better if you put the persona, because I here, this is exactly from the poem. Now, because the question asks, how did the persona? So you answer, and the persona watered it in fears and sunned it with smiles and deceitful wiles. So that is how you answer. You do not copy from the poem. Okay, all right. You have to elaborate on what the persona did to allow his anger to grow. Okay. All right. Now, and then we also have what we call HOTS question, higher order thinking skills question, and usually this question is D question. It is in the section D. Okay. Now, HOTS question, usually it carries 2 marks. Usually. Okay. For example, in this poem, the persona was angry with his foe. If you were the persona's friend, what advice would you give to him and why? So there are question asked for advice and reason. So how do you answer this question? For example, I have here advice. So if you are not sure on how to begin, okay, you are not sure on how to begin, you look again at the question. If you were the persona's friend, what advice would you give to him and why? So you can start with the question use would. So you can start with I would, because the question asks you to give your opinion. So I would advise my friend to speak honestly to his foe so that they could resolve the misunderstanding between them. Okay, that's the advice. All right, and the reason, what is the reason? So that they could become friends again. So this one is another, this is another 1 mark for you. So you have 2 marks, okay? All right, now, next. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Now, do you agree with the persona's feeling? Give a reason for your answer. Do you agree? So, do you agree needs an answer. Do you agree? So, we will answer yes or no. So, if you answer no, because then you give a reason, because it is wrong to kill someone. Some students, they forgot to answer yes or no. They just gave the reason. Okay, so the examiner will have to look at the reason and to see whether it is a yes or no answer. Okay, but don't worry so much about it. You just read the question and you give your answer. Okay, all right. So be very careful. If the question asks for do you agree? So usually, you would need to answer yes or no. All right. If it is yes, because there is closure to the misunderstanding. So whatever reason that you give, make sure that it is logical, because this is an open-ended question where you can answer, the answer can be both yes or no. But remember to give a logical reason or a logical answer to your no or to your yes. Okay? No because something, yes because why? It has to be logical. All right. Next. How would you feel if you had a misunderstanding with your friend? Explain. So here the question asks for feeling. So, what is your feeling and what is the explanation for that feeling? Okay, so the feeling can be maybe upset or sad or unhappy, and then you explain why. I have no one to talk to. Okay, so that is the explanation. All right. Now, can you answer? And sorry, this is something wrong here. We shouldn't be here. So just ignore this one. Okay. All right. Next. Sorry. Yes, it is part of the answer, but this is actually lifting from the poem. So we don't accept this. Okay. All right. Next. All right. Next. Here I have a few more questions, all right? A few more questions on HOTS question, the higher order thinking skills question, and maybe you would like to try it at home. Okay, you try to answer as many questions as you can to see whether you have understood the poem. Okay, now for example, number 1, what would you do if you had a misunderstanding with your enemy? Suggest 2 ways. So what would you do? So here it needs action. Okay? In stanza 1, what happened to the persona when he did not express his anger? So what happened to the persona when he did not express his anger? Okay? In stanza 3, what did the apple refer to? So what did the apple refer to? In stanza 4, why did the persona feel happy? Question 5, what did the persona do when he was angry with his friend? Question 6. If you were the persona, would you have been glad to see your foe outstretched beneath the tree? Would you be glad to see him lying there on his back? Okay, so here you need to answer, would you have been glad? Okay, so you have to answer yes, I am glad, or no. So here it requires a yes or no answer first, and then give a reason to support your answer. Now, what 2 things can you learn from the poem? So here you need to give 2 moral values or moral lesson that you have learned from the poem. And here, question number 8, I was angry with my foe. Okay, state 1 bad effect of anger and suggest a solution to manage anger. So all these questions requires you to think and to give your own opinion, and this is where you have to write a bit in order for you to answer the question. Okay, so you really have to think about your answer. Okay, so I think that is all for today. Okay, so I have finished this session. So I'm very sorry I only managed to do 1 poem, that is a poison tree. Time does not permit me to continue with the next one. Maybe we will continue this in our next session. Okay, so what have we learned today? So I have shared with you a poison tree. We have looked at an analysis of the poem. We have looked at how to answer questions, okay, the techniques and tips of answering questions, and we have also discussed some HOTS question. All right, so that is all from me today. I hope you have enjoyed our session and are able to understand what I have delivered. Hopefully, inshallah, it would help you in answering the questions on poem in your examination and eventually in the SPM examination. So before I end, I would like to say good luck to you. I would like to say stay at home. I would like to say do a lot of revision, be happy, be healthy, and have positive attitudes. Okay, so that you'll be able to enjoy and put some good work during our PKP. All right. With that, thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Daripada Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu berkata, Nabi SAW pernah berdoa, Allahumma inni a'udzubika minal barasi wal jununi wal juzami wa min sayil asqam. Ya Allah, aku berlindung denganmu daripada penyakit sopak, penyakit gila, penyakit kusta dan penyakit-penyakit yang buruk. Hadis diriwayatkan oleh Al-Imam Abu Dawud dengan sanad yang sahih.